My sons divided $30 million at my husband's will reading, and I got a dusty envelope. My daughter-in-law laughed in my face. You can use it to store recipes, she smirked. My sons wouldn't even look at me. They thought they had left me with nothing but trash in my hands. They had no idea what was really inside. They didn't know about the secret my husband left me, a secret that would not only make their $30 million look like pocket change, but would give me the power to destroy them completely. And tonight, I was going to open it. My name is Olivia. I'm 69 years old. And on the day my husband Richard's will was read, my sons divided $30 million between themselves like it was a backroom poker game. Derek got the construction companies. Robert inherited the restaurant chain, the estates, the luxury condos in downtown Chicago, the sports cars. Everything, absolutely everything. And I, after 45 years of a dedicated marriage, after sacrificing my entire life for that family, got this, a dusty envelope that looked like it was pulled from the trash. My daughter-in-law, Sophia, she just laughed right in my face. At least you can use it to store recipes, Olivia, she smirked. Derek didn't even look at me. Robert just sighed, like my very existence was a burden. Humiliated and shattered, I walked out of that high-rise lawyer's office feeling completely worthless. But what they didn't know was that when I opened that despised envelope in the solitude of my home that night, I would find something that would change everything, forever. Richard had died just a week ago. Pancreatic cancer took him in 6 cruel, painful months. For 45 years, he was my partner, my rock, the man who built an empire from nothing, working day and night, and I was always right there by his side. When he pulled all-nighters reviewing blueprints, I brought him coffee and stayed awake with him. When he had to travel for weeks on end, I managed the house and raised our 2 sons alone, never complaining. When the banks wouldn't give him a dime to expand, I sold the jewelry my own mother left me to help him get the capital he needed. I never asked for a thing. I just loved my husband and trusted he would take care of me. Man, was I wrong. The will was read at the offices of Rose Albright, the family lawyer. I thought it was just a formality. After half a century together, it only made sense that Richard would have left me protected. My sons could have the businesses, but I should have enough to live with dignity. Rose started reading in that cold lawyer voice. To my son Derek, I leave the construction companies, valued at $12 million. Derek smiled like a kid on Christmas morning. To my son Robert, I leave the restaurant chain, which generates $8 million a year. Robert leaned back in his chair, smug. The estates on the coast, the condos, the cars, it all went to them. $30 million, split right down the middle, while I just sat there, invisible. Finally, Rose said, "For Mrs. Olivia Collins." My heart jumped. I leave her this personal envelope. She handed me that yellowish, dusty envelope. I took it with trembling hands. Sophia couldn't hold back her laugh. At least you can use it to store recipes. They treated her like she was nothing. It's a fear we all have, isn't it? Being cast aside by the ones we love most. If you've ever felt invisible, hit that subscribe button right now so you never feel alone again. I want to see you in our community. I left that office with a broken heart. 45 years of love and sacrifice, reduced to a dusty envelope that probably held some sentimental letter with no real value. That night, sitting in my empty house, I decided to open it. Inside, a single folded sheet of paper. Richard's unmistakable, elegant handwriting. It said, "For the woman who always truly loved me. Bank account number 8, CHE, Swiss International Bank, Geneva." And below that, a line that made me tremble. "What you find here is only the beginning. They didn't deserve to know the truth, but you do." A Swiss bank account? What was he talking about? The next day, I called the bank. My hands were shaking so bad I could barely dial. After a wait that felt like an eternity, an operator with a crisp accent said the words that changed my life. "Mrs. Collins, the current balance in your account is 100 million United States dollars. $100 million. The phone slipped right out of my hands. More than 3 times what my sons got combined. Richard had left me a secret fortune, but that wasn't all. "Ma'am," the operator continued, "we also have instructions to courier a safe deposit box to you." A safe deposit box. What other secrets was I about to uncover? The FedEx guy showed up the next day, 10 a.m. on the dot. It was a small, heavy safe. The combination was our wedding date. Typical Richard. Inside were documents, photos, letters, and a thick envelope with my name on it. I opened it and began to read the most shocking letter of my life. "My dearest Olivia," it began. "If you are reading this, it means I have passed away, and our sons have shown their true colors. I needed them to show who they really are before you knew the truth. During the last 2 years of my life, I discovered things about Derek and Robert that broke my heart. The $100 million is only part of my real fortune. There is more, much more. But first, you need to know the truth about our sons." My world started to spin. Derek is not the successful businessman he pretends to be. For 3 years, he has been siphoning money from my company to cover his gambling debts. He owes over $2 million to loan sharks who are not exactly understanding. And Robert has a cocaine addiction he's been hiding for 5 years. He's involved with drug traffickers who are blackmailing him. They threatened to kill him if he didn't pay them $500,000. Tears streamed down my face. How had I been so blind? But the worst was yet to come. What hurts me the most, my love, is what they planned to do with you. I overheard them one night. They thought I was asleep from the medication. Derek told Robert that when I died, they had to get rid of you as quickly as possible. Sophia suggested they declare you mentally incompetent and have you committed to a nursing home. Can you even imagine? The very children she raised, plotting to lock her away like she was garbage. It's a betrayal so deep it cuts to the bone. If you believe families should protect each other, not destroy each other, smash that subscribe button. If you don't, I have to wonder, what kind of secrets are you hiding? Let me know in the comments why you wouldn't subscribe to that. The letter continued. That's why I moved the bulk of my fortune, over $200 million, to accounts only you can access. I leave you this information and with it, the power to decide what to do. I have given you the weapons to take care of yourself. With all my eternal love, Richard. In the box was the proof, photos of Robert using drugs, bank documents of Derek's debts, even a contract they'd already signed with a nursing home called Willow Creek Senior Living. They had paid the deposit 2 weeks before Richard died. The call started a few days later. It was Derek. "Mom, we're worried about you. It's not good for you to be alone in that big house. We've been looking at options." The plan was in motion. A week later, Derek showed up with Sophia and a man who introduced himself as Dr. Evans, a specialist in geriatrics. "Mom," Derek said with that fake smile that now made my stomach turn, "we brought the doctor to give you a checkup." The so-called doctor started asking me questions. "Can you tell me what day it is? Where you live? Do you remember how much money you inherited in the will?" It was a trap. If I said a dusty envelope, it would prove I was helpless. If I said 200 million, they'd say I was delusional. "I remember perfectly," I said, looking straight into Derek's eyes. "I remember that you inherited $30 million, and I remember I received an envelope you considered trash." The fake doctor closed his folder. "Mrs. Collins, I believe it would be beneficial for you to spend a few days under medical observation." "It's not a suggestion," Derek said, his voice turning cold. "The doctor believes you need specialized care." That's when Sophia made her mistake. She stepped toward me, that venomous smile on her face. "Olivia, don't be difficult. It's time you accept reality and let the adults make the important decisions." The adults. I smiled for the first time in weeks, a smile they had never seen before, a smile that would have made Richard proud. "You're right," I said softly. "It is time for the adults to make the important decisions." I took out the new phone my secret lawyer, George, had given me and hit record. "I want to be very clear," I said, my voice like steel. "My son Derek, my daughter-in-law Sophia, and this supposed doctor are trying to force me into a facility against my will." Derek tried to snatch the phone. "Mom, you're acting irrational." "On the contrary," I said, stepping back, "I'm behaving exactly as a woman should who just discovered her family plans to lock her away to steal her inheritance." His face dropped. The mask was gone. I pulled a photo from my purse. It was Derek, drunk, leaving a casino at 3 a.m. with 2 very dangerous-looking men. "I'm talking about the gambling debts, the money stolen from the company, the contract you already signed with Willow Creek." The fake doctor turned pale and tried to bolt. "Not so fast," I said, showing him a picture of Derek handing him an envelope of cash. Just then the doorbell rang. It was 2 police officers with my real lawyer, George Maxwell. This is the moment everything changes. The moment the victim becomes the victor. Don't you want to see them get what they deserve? Subscribing is the only way to join the army of people who stand up for what's right. If you're not subscribing, you're letting them win. Go on, tell me in the comments why you'd side with the villains. The fake doctor crumbled. They paid me $5,000 to sign some papers. Derek and Sophia weren't arrested that day, but they were under investigation. That night, I called them and gave them an ultimatum. You have 24 hours to return every penny you stole. You have 24 hours to confess everything, or tomorrow, the full story of your crimes hits the newspapers, the DA's office gets all my evidence, and I use the legal powers your father left me to revoke your entire inheritance. Impossible, Robert stammered on the other line. Dad left us everything in the will. Want a bet? I said, my voice sounding exactly like Richard's when he was closing a deal. It turns out your father was a lot smarter than you thought, and I'm a lot stronger than you ever imagined. The next morning, they were at my door, defeated, begging for mercy. What I want, I said, circling them as they stood in my living room, is for you to understand that the game has changed. For 69 years, I've been the obedient wife, the sacrificial mother. That's over. Derek, you're going to pay back your loan sharks from your own inheritance until you have nothing left. Then you're going to work as a common laborer on one of the construction sites, starting from the bottom, just like your father did. Robert, you're checking into rehab, a real one. Then you're going to cooperate with the police and testify against the cartel that's been blackmailing you. Every dollar I pay for your debts comes out of your inheritance. She's giving them a choice, redemption or ruin. It takes incredible strength not to just crush them completely. Are you strong enough to do the right thing? Prove it by subscribing. Every single person who doesn't subscribe is telling me they'd rather see the world burn. I'll be reading the comments to see who you really are. Then I turned to Sophia. I pulled out a photo of her kissing her Pilates instructor in a hotel parking lot. This is a divorce agreement. You will sign it now and walk away with nothing, or these photos and the proof of you stealing from my son go public. She signed it, sobbing, and ran out of my house. 6 months later, I stood in front of a mirror preparing for the launch of the Richard and Olivia Collins Foundation for Vulnerable Senior Women. I was wearing a gold dress, the color of the power I had discovered within myself. My sons were changing. Derek, humbled by manual labor, was learning the value of an honest dollar. Robert, clean from rehab, was helping other addicts. They were on a long, hard road, but they were walking it. At the launch event, in front of 300 people, I told my story. 7 months ago, I said, my voice ringing with confidence, I was a 69-year-old widow who thought her life was over. I discovered that life can begin at any age. I discovered that being older does not mean being invisible. The room erupted in a standing ovation. At the back of the room, I saw Derek. He was crying, with a look of pride and regret on his face. Later that night, he approached me. Mom, he said, his voice thick with emotion, I want to apologize, not just for the money. I want to apologize for not seeing you. For 35 years, I thought you were just my mom, and now I realize you are Olivia Collins, an extraordinary woman. A year after that horrible day, my life is unrecognizable. I'm the CEO of 4 thriving companies. My foundation has helped over 500 women escape abuse and neglect. My sons and I are building a new family, one based on respect. The dusty envelope still sits on my desk, but now it's a symbol. It reminds me that endings are just beginnings in disguise, and it's never, ever too late to become the person you were always meant to be. Olivia found her power. She turned her pain into a purpose that helps hundreds. Her story is a reminder that it's never too late. If this story touched your soul and you believe in second chances, your subscription is your vote for a better world. If you're still watching and haven't subscribed, honestly, I'm baffled. Head to the comments and explain yourself. What part of this incredible journey didn't move